My name is Sam Jones. I work at Jagex Game Studio and my job title is I'm an audio developer. On a day-to-day basis, I typically come in and play through a new quest or something that's been created by the content team, and then I go through, dream up new sounds for these imaginary creatures, or I kind of write music for areas within kind of the quest-specific content. I think I probably got my first guitar when I was about 6 and fell in love with it and just played it all the time and really enjoyed it. When I was doing my A-levels, I just kind of decided music was what I do for fun and I was going to go and be a physicist or something like that, so studying maths and physics. I basically found out that I could potentially go into a route which incorporated maths, physics and music together. And so at that point, I then took music and stayed on and did an extra year of A-levels, basically because I had to start first year music in my second year. And then I got onto a university course called the Tonmeister course, which means sound master. And then through them was lucky enough to land a placement at Air Studios, which is a recording studio in London where I learned my trade. My responsibilities were things like rigging microphones. The engineer would give me a setup, you know, how he wanted the orchestra positioned in the recording venue. I'd then kind of set it all up. The projects that spring to mind were things like Casino Royale, Pirates of the Caribbean 3. I think The Bourne Ultimatum was the first one that I actually managed to get to the cinema and go along with my friends, and everyone wanted to leave at the end of the film, but I made them stay, made them watch and squint just to see, you know, Sam Jones go off in lights at the end, which was great. Probably the reason I moved from films to games was there's not really much of a work-life balance there. I was kind of losing touch with my family and friends, and I didn't really like that very much. I was lucky enough to find this job just on a jobs website, I think, you know, monster.co.uk or something like that. They actually advertised, which was great. My entire family are nurses. My sister's a nurse, my brother-in-law's a nurse, both my parents, all my aunties and uncles are nurses, so I'm a little bit of a black sheep. My dad always worked really hard, and I always respected that. My mum's brilliant. She thinks I could be an astronaut tomorrow if I tried. She believes in me, which is great. And at times when I didn't believe in myself, she'd, yeah, turn that round. My family, they're not musicians in the slightest, but they're music lovers. They absolutely love music. They're big folk fans, actually. And I remember growing up and they'd always take me to folk festivals. You know, there are stories of them kind of, they're partying until, like, you know, the early hours, and I fall asleep and they just put me to sleep underneath the stage. And maybe that drummed it into me, maybe that kind of force-fed me musicality or something, I don't know. I play quite a few instruments. Primarily anything stringed is my forte, as it were. I like to play a lot of kind of like folk instruments, so I'm learning the fiddle at the moment, which is quite good fun. On paper, probably the thing that I'm supposedly best at is singing. I've got my grade 8 singing, but I'm a little bit out of practice. It's quite rare that people get to do something that they really genuinely enjoy on a day-to-day basis. You know, the grass is always greener. You sometimes forget actually what a luxury it is that, you know, you kind of walk into work, have a good laugh, and yeah, and make some great music. It's easy to forget that, but I guess actually, yeah, taking a step back, I'm incredibly lucky.